Hi, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas on Wednesday, January the 30th, and welcome to our video commentary. I have a few more thoughts today about this new law in New York, the abortion law, that basically makes abortion legal at any time in the pregnancy. Now, what the people in New York are saying, or the Democrats and the governor are saying, is that they were basically getting ready for, let's say, if Roe v. Wade was overturned, they wanted to be ready and say that women in New York had a right to an abortion and so on. So that's their explanation. But the bottom line is they've authorized a law that basically says abortion is legal at any time. Now, there are similar sounds coming from Rhode Island where they're talking about a similar law. And in Virginia, a state legislator has introduced a similar law for Virginia. In fact, there's a story in the paper today that the legislator who proposes this law admits that this law would allow a woman to have an abortion at any time in the pregnancy. So she's not hiding the intentions of the law. At least she's being honest. And I find all of this very interesting because for years, it is people like me, the people from, let's say, the right or Republicans, who've argued that the problem with Roe v. Wade is that the federal government basically created a federal right to an abortion and that it should have been decided by the states. In other words, let every state decide what it wants to do with abortion. If Texas wants to, let's say, allow abortion, would put a limit of 12 weeks or whatever, every state would decide what they wanted to do with abortion. And it would do so either through a referendum or through the legislatures, whatever it may be. Well, it turns out that now the opponents of Roe v. Wade are basically making the same case we were making for years, that this should be decided on a state-by-state basis. New Hampshire, as I said, Rhode Island, Virginia, and New York are basically saying we as a state have the right to create abortion or to write an abortion law, which is okay with me. I mean, if to be consistent with what I've said before, let the states decide what abortion is. The only question I have is what happens when Texas decides that they want to restrict abortion or they want to eliminate, let's say, abortion after 12 weeks, or as recently happened in Iowa, where the state legislature and the governor there signed a law that says no abortion if you can hear the heartbeat of the baby. And it just seems to me that the same Democrats who argued that we should have a federal mandate on abortion are now saying, no, we should have a state, let every state decide on abortion. Again, I can live with that as long as it applies to every state, meaning those who want to have abortion like New York and states like Texas and others that want to restrict abortion. So it seems to me that the Supreme Court needs to take a look at this. If you go back to the front page in the New York Times on the day that Roe v. Wade was, the opinion was written, the headline that day in the New York Times was that the court had approved abortion in the first 12 weeks. It didn't say abortion forever. And for years, the argument we've heard is that you had a right to an abortion, but no one ever said that that right extended to the last week of the pregnancy. So I think we've entered into a brand new territory here with New York and apparently Rhode Island and Virginia. And it may be time to revisit Roe v. Wade and either overturn it or tell these states who want to go beyond 12 weeks that they're operating outside the intent of Roe v. Wade. It's an interesting legal problem. It's a moral problem, of course, but it's also an interesting legal problem that I think the Supreme Court should pick up soon so that we can settle this issue for once and for all. Thank you for watching. We have all of these on YouTube, on Twitter, and on my blog. And if today is your birthday, happy birthday. Bye-bye, everybody.